Welcome to Healthy Living, the podcast where we explore nature's gifts that boost your health and enrich your life. I'm your host, Lindiwe, and today we're shining a spotlight on an unsung hero of the produce aisle, the humble plantain. Now, I know what you're thinking. Isn't that just a giant, weird-looking banana? Well, my friends, prepare to have your culinary world rocked. These banana lookalikes are culinary chameleons that can transform from savory chips to sweet desserts and everything in between. Grab your apron and your sense of adventure as we peel back the layers on this starchy superstar. By the end of this episode, you'll be rushing to your local market to stock up on what might just become your new favorite fruit. Understanding plantains, not your average banana. Picture yourself wandering through a vibrant tropical market, the colors, the smells, the sounds. Among the exotic fruits and vegetables, you spot what looks like bananas on steroids. These larger, starchier cousins of the familiar yellow fruit are plantains, and they're about to change your culinary life. Despite their striking resemblance to bananas, plantains are a whole different ballgame. They're native to tropical regions and are staples across Africa, the Caribbean, Central and South America, and Southeast Asia. Think of them as the workhorses of the banana family, less flashy, but infinitely more versatile. The first time I tried cooking with plantains, I made the rookie mistake of peeling and eating one raw like a banana. Let me tell you, that starchy, bland experience was not what I was expecting. My Caribbean neighbor nearly fell over laughing when I told her, "Oh, honey, that's like biting into a raw potato expecting it to taste like French fries." Unlike their sweeter cousins, plantains are culinary chameleons that transform dramatically as they ripen. They start off green and firm with a potato-like starchiness, gradually yellowing and developing black spots as they ripen and become sweeter. Fun fact: while we categorize plantains as fruits botanically, they're treated as vegetables in cooking. They're one of the few fruits you can enjoy at every stage of ripeness, each stage offering a completely different flavor profile and texture. It's like getting 3 ingredients for the price of one. The most remarkable thing about plantains is that they're not just passing through the food scene. They've been sustaining entire populations for centuries. In fact, plantains are the 10th most important staple food in the world, feeding millions of people daily. Talk about an overachiever in the fruit family. Nutritional powerhouse, health benefits you can't ignore. Let's talk nutrition, because plantains aren't just delicious, they're nutritional powerhouses wrapped in a convenient package. Unlike many tasty foods that make us choose between flavor and health, plantains let us have our cake, or should I say, our plantain bread, and eat it too. Plantains are loaded with complex carbohydrates that provide sustained energy rather than the quick spike and crash you get from simple sugars. They're rich in dietary fiber, which keeps your digestive system running smoothly. Your gut microbiome sends its thanks. Speaking of digestion, plantains contain resistant starch, a type of fiber that acts as a prebiotic, feeding those beneficial gut bacteria we talked about in our microbiome episode. Remember those trillions of tiny helpers influencing everything from your mood to your metabolism? Plantains are like throwing them a feast. The vitamin content in plantains is equally impressive. They're packed with vitamin C for immune support, vitamin A for eye health, and vitamin B6 for brain function and energy metabolism. And let's not forget the minerals: potassium for heart health and blood pressure regulation, and magnesium for muscle function and stress management. All that nutritional goodness with zero gluten and practically no fat. For anyone with dietary restrictions, plantains are like nature's gift saying, "Hey, you can still eat delicious things." I started incorporating plantains into my diet last year when I was looking for ways to diversify my carb sources, and I noticed something interesting. I felt fuller longer after eating them compared to regular bananas or even potatoes. That's the resistant starch and fiber at work, helping to stabilize blood sugar and keep hunger at bay. And here's a bonus that made me do a happy dance in my kitchen. Plantains actually get more nutritious as they ripen. The starches convert to natural sugars, and the antioxidant content increases. It's like they're aging in reverse, if only we humans could pull off that trick. Culinary versatility, the 3 lives of plantains. Now let's get to the really fun part. Cooking with plantains. What makes plantains truly special is their remarkable versatility. Depending on their ripeness, you're essentially working with 3 different ingredients, each with its own culinary superpowers. Let's start with green plantains, firm, starchy, and perfect for savory dishes. When a plantain is green, think of it as nature's potato. In the Caribbean and Latin America, green plantains are sliced, fried twice, and smashed in between to create tostones or patacones. Crispy, golden discs that are addictively delicious. The first time I made tostones at home, I invited friends over for a taste test. 3 batches later, we were fighting over the last pieces. One friend described them as, what would happen if a potato chip and a French fry had a perfect tropical baby? And that's just the beginning. Green plantains can be boiled and mashed with garlic and pork rinds to make Puerto Rican mofongo, grated and formed into dumplings, or sliced paper thin and fried into plantain chips that put potato chips to shame. As plantains ripen and turn yellow with black spots, they develop a perfect balance of sweetness and starchiness. This is my personal favorite stage. Yellow plantains can be sliced diagonally and pan-fried to make maduros, caramelized plantain slices that taste like they've been dipped in honey, even though no sweetener is added. The outside gets this gorgeous golden brown color, while the inside stays tender and sweet. It's like nature's candy wrapped in a caramel shell. Once plantains turn completely black, don't throw them out. They're actually at their sweetest stage, perfect for baking. Overripe plantains can replace bananas in bread, pancakes, or smoothies for a more complex flavor profile. I once brought plantain bread to an office potluck without telling anyone what it was. The secret ingredient guessing game that followed was hilarious. Nobody could place that distinctive flavor that's sweeter and more complex than banana bread. Plantains truly cross cultural boundaries. They're beloved across Africa, Latin America, the Caribbean, and parts of Asia. Each region has developed ingenious ways to prepare them. In Nigeria, they're grilled as boli and served with spicy peanut sauce. In India, they're made into chips seasoned with turmeric and chili. In Cuba, they're famously served as thinly sliced chips called mariquitas. What I find most fascinating is how plantains connect people across continents through shared culinary traditions. A testament to both human ingenuity and the incredible adaptability of this fruit. Cultural significance more than just food. Plantains aren't just food, they're cultural touchstones embedded in traditions, celebrations, and daily life across many cultures. In countries like Ghana, Nigeria, and throughout the Caribbean, plantains are more than a side dish, they're part of cultural identity. I had the privilege of attending a traditional West African family celebration last year, and I was amazed at how plantains appeared in nearly every course, from appetizers to dessert. My host explained that in many African households, a meal without plantains is considered incomplete. We say the plantain is like a faithful friend, always reliable, always nourishing, never disappointing. This deep cultural connection makes plantains comfort food in the truest sense of the word. They're tied to memories of family gatherings, celebrations, and the feeling of home. For many immigrants and their descendants, preparing traditional plantain dishes is a way to maintain connection with their heritage. In the Caribbean, plantains are so fundamental to the cuisine that they're often referred to simply as food in local dialects. The ways they're prepared serve as culinary signatures of different islands. The mofongo of Puerto Rico, the tostones of Cuba, the plantain porridge of Jamaica. I think there's something beautiful about how a single ingredient can contain so much cultural meaning and memory. It makes you realize that food is never just about nutrition. It's about connection, tradition, and identity. Bringing plantains into your kitchen, practical tips. Now that I've hopefully convinced you of plantains' awesomeness, let's talk about practical tips for bringing them into your kitchen. First, how do you choose the right plantain? Unlike bananas, where we typically want them yellow with maybe a few spots, with plantains, you choose based on how you plan to use them. For savory dishes and chips, look for firm green plantains. For versatile cooking options, choose yellow plantains with some black spots. For sweet recipes and baking, go for heavily spotted or completely black plantains. Pro tip: if you can only find green plantains but need ripe ones, you can speed up the ripening process by placing them in a paper bag with an apple or banana. The ethylene gas will work its magic. Now, peeling plantains can be a bit trickier than bananas, especially when they're green. Instead of peeling from the top like a banana, cut off both ends, make a shallow slit along the ridges, and then use your thumb to get under the skin. Yellow and black plantains peel much more like regular bananas. The first time I tried peeling a green plantain, it was like wrestling with a stubborn piece of packaging, but I promise it gets easier with practice. Storage is simple. Green plantains can be kept at room temperature until they reach your desired ripeness. If you want to slow down ripening, refrigerate them. The skin will turn black, but the inside will stay relatively unchanged. Let me share a quick and easy recipe that converted me into a plantain devotee. Simple pan-fried sweet plantains. Choose yellow plantains with black spots. Peel and slice them diagonally about half an inch thick. Heat a couple tablespoons of coconut oil in a pan. Fry the slices for about 2-3 minutes per side until golden brown. Sprinkle with a tiny pinch of salt to bring out the sweetness. That's it. No sugar, no complicated ingredients, just the natural magic of plantains. Serve them alongside scrambled eggs for breakfast with black beans and rice for dinner, or enjoy them on their own as a snack. For those feeling more adventurous, I've included a delicious plantain bread recipe in our show notes. It's like banana bread's more sophisticated cousin. Closing thoughts. Plantain truly exemplify what this podcast is all about. Natural foods that nourish both body and soul. From their impressive nutritional profile to their remarkable versatility in the kitchen, plantains deserve a place in your culinary repertoire. What I find most inspiring about plantains is how they represent culinary wisdom passed down through generations. Long before modern nutrition science confirmed their health benefits, cultures around the world recognized plantains as a sustaining food that could be transformed in countless ways. The next time you're at the grocery store, I encourage you to pick up a few plantains at different stages of ripeness and experiment. Start with something simple like fried sweet plantains, and before you know it, you might be whipping up mofongo or plantain bread that will impress even the most discerning food lovers in your life. Before we wrap up, I want to give special thanks to our producer Larry Allen, whose blog, Live Well, A Guide to Healthy Living at happyguthealthybrain.blogspot.com features terrific articles on incorporating diverse, nutritious foods into your diet. Larry's passion for exploring cultural food traditions aligns perfectly with today's plantain adventure. Thank you for joining me on Healthy Living. If this episode inspired you to try cooking with plantains, I'd love to hear about your culinary experiments. Share your experiences on our social media or leave a comment on our website. Next week, we'll be exploring the fascinating world of adaptogens, herbs and mushrooms that help your body adapt to stress. Until then, stay curious, stay healthy, and happy cooking.